elegant weapon, but a more civilized age.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to An Elegant Weapon, episode 397. My name is J.M. Clark, J the Jedi Ross, Jedi J. And as always, it is so wonderful to have all you beautiful babies back here with us in the High Walker studio. It's a wonderful time, 397. Good Lord, we're approaching the big one. The next century will be upon us very soon. I'm really excited about tonight, kids. This individual I've got to chat with over the years at cons and live events and such, but we have never actually had the chance to sit down and have a full-on conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest tonight, Messiah Complex Cosplay, aka Geoff MacDonald. Geoff, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight.
It is my genuine pleasure. I know we've been talking about this for years. Every time we see each other at an event, you're always like, you got to come here, or I got to go there, or I'm going to be passing through, or you're going to be passing through, and we're going to do something. And now, through the miracles of modern technology due to COVID-19, here we are able to do it over Zoom and on Facebook Live. So it's good to finally sit down and chat with you, my friend. It's been too long in coming.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's a weird time because, I've always been a podcaster. Speaking of podcasters, kids, anybody out there wants to join us in the comment section here, you're going to probably hear me click to expand because for some reason that part doesn't edge out of the computer. But we're good to go. So if everybody wants to jump in there and say hello to Geoff, or they got any questions or anything like that, please, of course, jump on in. So, I knew how I was going to start this out. Yesterday, I had a pretty lazy day yesterday, hanging out. I watched some Star Wars.
Nice.
Did some stuff. Lazy Sunday. I decided let's throw on The Watchmen. I haven't watched The Watchmen in a long time. Right? So I'm watching. I love The Watchmen. So I'm watching The Watchmen, and and then a little after that, I'm on Instagram, and you happen to repost your comedian.
Right.
And I thought that was cool. And I thought that's how we're going to start this, because your comedian is the way I first met you. The first time I saw you was as the comedian.
Oh, okay.
And not only was I so impressed by the work that you put into the cosplay, but you've got the right look for that particular one. Was that your first cosplay?
No, that would have been, I want to say, my third or fourth cosplay, but when I got into cosplay, that was the goal. It was the first costume I talked about doing, the first costume I wanted to do. The second I saw that movie, before I even knew what cosplay or costuming or any of that even was, as soon as he came on the screen in that outfit, I was like, that's what's up. Look at that dude. Look at that badass. So yeah, it took some time. It took about a year to get it all together.
So when you saw him, you just happened to like the outfit. Did any thought cross through your head that you kind of bear a similar resemblance to Negan Morgan? No, not at all.
No, nothing that happened until Negan showed up on The Walking Dead, and he had that jacket and the scarf and the bat and everything else. And even then, like, I saw him on The Walking Dead and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And I already seen him on Watchmen. I'd seen him in a couple of other things, so I was already a fan. But then, I started getting messages from friends, and they were like, that looks a lot like you, dude. Like, maybe you should give that a go. And up until then, I'd only done one cosplay. I was doing Jane Cobb from Firefly, and that was fun. But I mean, nobody really knew who that was. It was a really niche character on an old show. So I bought the jacket used off of Cccxcvii for $60, and I got like a foam bat from Amazon, because he would only been on one episode, so there was no merch out there.
Right, you got right on it. Yeah.
So
wait, you did Negan before the comedian?
Oh yeah. Negan
I must have met you. Okay, I must have met you when you were Negan then, because I fully remember that happening. And if that happened before comedian, I must have met you when you were doing Negan.
Maybe, but I mean, I still do Negan's been throughout the whole.
Been continuous.
Yeah.
Or maybe I missed. Yeah, I might have missed the first round then.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's possible.
So how did it start? Were you just watching Firefly and was like, I want to dress up like that guy?
No, it started. I've been a nerd and a geek all my life, and I'd been to Toronto Trek, the Star Trek convention.
Oh my God.
I know.
Was that
at the
cool?
Royal Constellation. No, it's not cool. It's not even a little bit cool. It's because we're talking back in the day. So I believe it. So I'm going to age myself a little bit. I used to sell computer software. My buddy and I used to sell like boxed computer software back when people still bought those things.
Right.
And we went to Toronto Trek as vendors 2 years running and actually did very, very well. But I was still like a big nerd. But I remember distinctly, I think it was at the second one, and some Klingons or something walked by, and I turned to my buddy, Jason, and I was like, I'm never dressing up like that, man. Like, look at those nerds. There is no way I'm ever doing that. That was like in my probably late 20s, mid to late 20s or whatever. And then London got a pair of, London's where I'm at, and we got a pair of Comic-Cons. We got London Comic-Con and Forest City Comic-Con. And I went to Forest City Comic-Con, the first one that they had, just in my regular clothes. And I saw so many people dressed up in so many different cool things. And then a vendor was selling a hat that's distinctive to that character, to the Jay and Cobb character. And it was labeled the Hero of Canton. And I saw the hat and I was like, oh man, I really want that. And my buddy that was with me got it for me for like my birthday. And I just wore it around for a while like a goofball, didn't really think about doing anything. But then I remembered all those cool costumes that I saw. And I was like, what rating is this podcast, by the way?
Oh, completely explicit.
Oh, good. All right. So I was like, fuck it. I'm going to see what I can do. And I started hitting like army surplus stores and, you know, got some cargo pants and got like a drop leg holster and put the stupid hat on and the gloves. And yeah, I went out for free comic book day that first year as Jane Cobb. And there happened to be a guy that was doing wash at the time. So he and I got some pictures together and I had a great old time. But yeah, like maybe like 1 in 50 people knew what I was doing or knew who I was. But then, yeah, that then led to me wanting to get into it. And then that led to Negan. And then that snowballed into all of this. So it all comes down to Negan. Negan is why I'm here and why I've enjoyed some of the successes that I've enjoyed, because that character just took the whole television world by storm. And then when I put it on, people fucking hated my guts, and it was the best thing.
You know, I go to a lot of conventions, as you know, and I know with Source Point, I'm going across the states and stuff. I have seen, I can't tell you how many Negans, right?
Right.
In my travels.
Of course.
And I will honestly tell you in no bias way that you're, someone I know, but it's serious. You're one of the best if not the best I've seen out there.
Stop.
And I don't know, man, because if you put like, yes, you guys look alike,
right?
But if you put you next, like, next to each other, you're not twins, right?
No.
Also, something about the aura of the way you come off. You know what I mean? Like that.
Oh, it's all swagger, bro.
Yeah, it's all swagger, right?
Yeah,
it all just completes the look.
Yeah.
Especially, you know what? Let me see if I can. I'm gonna try something here. I don't do this part too often, and I'm my own producer, kids. So you kind of got to deal with it. I'm gonna try and share a screen here. Okay.
Oh yeah, give
it
up.
Screen that we're on.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there we go.
So you can.
Hey, there's you.
Screen. Yeah,
I can see you. Yeah.
I'm gonna go over here and close this, and I've prepared a few things.
Oh wow.
So
this is all highfalutin. This is
a little bit. I'm trying.
Yeah. No, I am suitably impressed.
Can we see
I know that dude.
You know that dude. Now you're Zombie Negan. How did that come about? Just for fun, suggestion?
I was thinking, what would it be like? And he was still alive and well, and still the leader of the Savior. Like he was still on the show full time at that point. And I was like, I wonder what it'd be like if he got bit. Like, what would that look like?
It turned out so well, man. And that shot, who took? Oh.
So
are you there? Are you back?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm here.
I forgot to mention that's been happening lately. For some reason, my Zoom freezes for like 5 seconds and I got to reconnect. So if that does happen again, literally just give it a couple seconds.
No worries. Yeah.
I'll be right back. But yeah, this was
just a concept, bro. Yeah. We just threw it together in an afternoon and it went over really well. It was fun. And then I don't know if I was technically, quote unquote, the first to do that. But after I did that version, I did see a few of them crop up online. People doing like a Bitten or a Walker or a Zombie Negan. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Nice. I'm sure you originated it. Here we go. There's the one. Look at the smile. And it just all comes together. Now I love the actual work on this outfit here. Tell me about the construction of this piece, man.
It's a collaborative effort. There's probably, I want to say 4 or 5 different crafters that went into putting that entire piece together. I do nothing on my own. Nothing happens in a microcosm. The gun is a 3D custom print by my friend Paul Zapatelli. The pants and the armor itself, the main armor piece, are from a girl named Amber or Amy Cosplay. The belt buckle and the one shoulder pad is from another couple of friends of mine. The blue shoulder pad I made. The drop leg holster and the knee pads and such were bought from a different thing. It's a custom leather mask that was made by somebody else again. So,
and how is that on? Is there a band we can't really see well?
There is a band. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on. It's spirit gum doesn't stick to my skin, and in particular my face. I've tried several times, it doesn't work, and that's what most of the cosplayers use. So yeah, I went to the dollar store and I got like some cheap Halloween masks, and so they have like the thinnest little elastic around the back, and I just put a couple of grommets in the side, and I just put some black around my eyes and throw the mask on.
It looks so form-fitted, like it looks like it's sucked to your face. Like,
it's leather, so we wet the leather. It's like a hide, so we wet it, and then so it's definitely formed to the face. Yeah,
that's beautiful work.
It was a year putting all that together, and there's still work I'm still working on it, and still want to make improvements on
constantly
it. But
trying to So dude, how much of it, like, so you did your few, and did you immediately get hooked on the actual construction and putting in the work, or was that surprisingly difficult at first? Like,
it still is. The work, it's so weird. People in the community, for some, the work is everything. The work is what it is, and that's great. I'm not that guy. For me, the public appearance is what it is. You like the end production. Connecting with people, giving people that experience, connecting with their fandom, and seeing the look on their face when they see something from their fandom come to life like that in front of them, and they get to interact with it and touch it. Because I do try to cosplay it too, like role play a bit of it too.
Right.
That's what I'm in it for. The work sucks, dude. If I can buy a costume straight out, if I can just give somebody a chunk of money and just get a costume, that's what I'll do. But there's nobody making a comedian costume out there, so we had to build it. There's one of my many partners in crime. That's Alicia, or Kitties and Pretties as she's known on Instagram.
That's great stuff too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Her Sally is absolutely top notch. And we've actually done a bunch of stuff together in those suits, just because they go so well together.
You know, it kind of reminds me of, you know, I thought a lot about the end production of something. When I was at the Muppet Exposition, the Jim Henson exhibition in New York. Okay. And I was listening to this podcast with Brian Henson, his son, and because I wondered why they didn't have a lot of the certain things that were made. You figure they would have saved a lot of the original Muppet Show stuff. Mm-hmm. And he said apparently they never saved anything because Jim Henson didn't care. He didn't care about the process. Like he cared. He liked to make Muppets, but that wasn't the end result. Once the Muppet was made and the skit was made and then it was filmed, that piece of film was the art. That was what his end goal was. So anything he used to make that video just kind of didn't matter to him anymore. So they throw out a lot of Muppets and a lot of sets. And because he's like, it's there, it's right on the film. You watch the art I was intending to make. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, it kind of feels like that idea, which I'm totally
it is a little bit. Yeah, you'll notice if you ever go through my Instagram account, and I wouldn't blame you for not doing that if there's way too much stuff on there, but there's not a lot of like crafting or progress stuff on there, because I don't enjoy that part of it. It's a means to an end is all it is. Exactly what you're saying. It's a means to an end. And some people are fascinated by it. I'm happy to share whatever skills or knowledge that I have gleaned and learned over the last 4 years, whether it's paint or props or whatever. But yeah, I don't care about any of that. I just want to put cool shit on and go meet people. That's
fucking love it, dude. Man,
that's what I want to do.
I've always done this show production wise like solo. I've never had help. I've always, like, I had a co-host in the beginning who did a lot of the work, but he left at like episode 70. So you know, for the past like 320 episodes, I've been my own producer, my own editor, my own everything, and my own poster, my own social media. Good for you. When I started podcasting, I could barely use Facebook, and now I can build websites and audio engineering and all this crazy shit, but I don't like any of it. I kind of like editing. I prefer film editing to audio, and I kind of like editing, but even that has lost its flavor for me. And I'm almost at the point now after 10 years of doing this where I'm like, maybe I should get a producer, because at this point I just want to talk. I just want to record the end thing and be done with it.
If it frees you up to do the things you love.
Right? Yeah. It's cool. So
I mean, this has all been seamless so far. So I don't know what you're doing in the background, but so far this is wonderful. As far as I've done a few of these, so this has been great. Whatever you're doing, this is very
well,
this is
thank
very
you
good.
very much.
Yeah.
I think what's gotten me through is not caring, but just my nonchalantness over worrying about all that kind of stuff. A lot of people get into podcasting and they take it very serious and they feel like it's got to, for some reason, be so professional or no one's going to listen or something like that.
Yeah.
But I started out in the trenches at Comic-Con in Artist Alley with my iPhone talking shit with my friends, and
That's
it became
awesome.
a podcast, and people enjoyed that because it was real, it was unscripted. And yeah, I've never been polished, man. Everybody pays nowadays. A lot of podcasters pay. They pay a network or a producer to, you know, do all that stuff for them. So all they got to do is record it and send in the package. And they, you know, that is the average common way. Or there's a team, right? You have a couple co-hosts, one of them may be the producer, whatever.
Yeah.
No, man, I've done everything for free. So many sleepless nights on YouTube, just figuring out how to get around ways to do stuff for free. Because it wasn't like it is 10 years ago now. Now there's all these easy platforms and things to use, Squarespace, whatever. But back then, like I had to learn WordPress to learn to make an RSS feed, you know, which you could pay $100 to do. I didn't have $100, so I just stayed up all night.
But that's where the passion comes from. You don't do any of those things unless, even if you hate doing them, you don't do any of those things unless you can see the goal in mind where you want to get to.
I love the end.
Here you are.
I love the end game so much that I continuously keep to go through it, as it seems obviously like you're doing the same thing, you know.
Absolutely.
So, you have, as a lot of people have. I was going to say this earlier too when you mentioned about that we can do this magically. Online now, is when the pandemic started and everybody flooded online, it was really weird for me,
right?
Because I've been doing this for 10 years, interviewing people, talking to people, and all of a sudden everybody was doing it, which is fine. I think I've always said everybody in the world should have a podcast, even if it's your own personal blog or diary.
For sure.
It's a good exercise, you know, in conversation, in thought, and everybody was doing it, and it kind of turned me off. And a little bit. It was kind of like, it's not that easy, or I worked so hard. Maybe I had a tiny bit of bitterness that all of a sudden Zoom came around and everybody was just zooming and using the other streamcasters and everybody's streaming. And I was like, you know, and plus it was like so much video that a lot of the audio was getting killed. My audio downloads like disappeared because everybody started watching online.
Sure.
So yeah, it left a little weird flavor in my mouth for a little while, but then I kind of waited and watched, and I realized what was missing. And what was missing was my voice in the community. I realized, not saying my voice is a big deal, but I just saw all these people doing it exactly the same.
Right.
You know, it was the same conversation over and over and over again. And even I got sick of, I got to the point where my show became like a Kickstarter machine. And it was I got like 30 emails a day from people wanting to promote Kickstarters, and I can only ask people for Kickstarters so many times.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And just so we're clear, I don't have I'm promoting nothing. I have nothing to promote today.
It's part of the reason you're here, man. What I did is I made a mental switch, and I was like, I'm going back old school. I'm going to invite some other type people who I can just hang out with and chit chat with. And
I'm happy to do that with you. That's no problem. Zero things to promote right now. I have nothing in the hopper, nothing on the go.
Although you have kind of increased your online presence in the past year as well. You've been doing a lot more like live Instagram and stuff. Yeah,
just trying to talk about things that I'm passionate about, like you're talking about. Like none of this happens. I didn't do this or start doing any of this to push forward some sort of an agenda or get up on a soapbox and start preaching this or that. I got into it for my own passions. Like I've been a geek and a nerd literally my whole life. Star Wars, the original Superman movie, Batman in '89, like those were things that were so influential on me. I collected comics back in the '90s, the birth of Image Comics and Marvel and DC and such. So yeah, I've always been into it. This was a natural outlet for that. And then as I saw different opportunities come up, Instagram lives and doing IGTVs and all this kind of stuff, where it's still kind of like what you're saying. I haven't put any of the time in, brother. You have built this from the ground up, and you had to learn how to do all this. I literally bought a tripod off Amazon for $25. I stick my phone in it, and then I just record myself rambling for 15 minutes and then hit a button and it just goes off to the internet. And then 3 people see it. And maybe one of them will make a comment on it, and I might have a little bit of a conversation on it, and then that's it. So the opportunities are there because of the technology and the way it's bloomed and blossomed. And yeah, so I try to take a little bit of advantage of it. Would I love to have what you have? Absolutely. Am I going to put the time in to do what I need to do to have what you have? There's not a fucking chance that's gonna happen. I have this. I have all the. I've got a soundboard over here. I've got a decent mic. I've got a high def camera now. Like I could do it if I wanted to spend the time learning all about it. I don't, man.
I still don't have a soundboard. I don't use the soundboard. Everybody freaks out of getting the Behringers and they get all excited when they get their shit. I have been so easy. I have I don't know if I can show you kids here. This is what we're actually recording through. A lot of people have seen these, the Zooms, which is funny using the Zoom on the Zoom. Yeah. But it's a little portable digital recorder that also works as an audio interface. So I've literally just got my mic plugged into that and that plugged into the laptop. Oh, you got a H1.
I got a little teeny tiny. So
I used to have that one. That's adorable.
Have you been to Cccxcvii in Chatham, Kent?
I went for the first time last year.
Good for you.
Or when they had the last one, because what happened was, I guess, Josh Werner, who is art director and co-founder of SourcePoint Press, years ago had done a show there when things were just little, before things for SourcePoint had blown up and stuff. So he went and did a show and had a really good time. And I guess the runners of that show also own a shop. Am I correct? Do you know?
One of them owns a shop. Right. Yes.
So that shop has been really good to SourcePoint.
Oh, good.
Yeah, nice. I guess they've been over the years incredibly supportive of SourcePoint. I wish awesome. I could remember the shop to shout them out, so I apologize.
Chris runs the shop, and I've been in the shop, but I also don't remember the name of the shop because I'm such a great friend that way. Yeah, hard. I know. So
he hit me up and he's like, he's like, this area that far from you? And I'm like, no, not at all. He's like, can you cover this show? It's a really small one-day show, but I really want to do it because the people are awesome. The people that run it treated him really, really well. Yep. So he really wanted a presence there because he couldn't come out over the border at the time. So I was like, yeah. So I went out there and I brought my kid with me and we went on it and I had a great day. That was a super fun little show, right?
Yeah. And the guys that run that
welcoming.
No. Yeah. It's fantastic. And they've been really good to me too. They get me involved in the con. I've been hosting the cosplay contest now for the last 2 years running. And I work with, so there was a point. So my soundboard, my Sennheiser mic and my tiny little Zoom here has all been provided to me by Rob Bellamy, who's the other guy that runs Cccxcvii, the guy that does most of like the scheduling, books the guests, that type of thing.
That's who I was hooked up with.
Yeah, Rob is
great guy. He's super.
I literally can't say enough amazing things about Rob. A lot of the acting gigs that I've managed to land as a result of cosplay have come with Rob. He's been writing, directing, editing, such. He's just one of the most genuinely nice human beings I've ever run into in my life. I've spent so much time with the dude. I've never seen him even angry. I've never and he's running a con. He's in the middle of a con and the fire alarms are going off and bullshit's happening, and he's just like zenning all that shit out, man. Rob is the absolute goods. Yeah, he provided me a bunch of stuff. He's like, yeah, go ahead, start your own podcast. He's got his own podcast, The Movie Madhouse. It's a great podcast. He had me on a couple of times too, but yeah, he set me up with all this shit and I'm like, yeah, I'm totally going to do that. And then I've never I've never done it, and I probably never will. And I hope he doesn't see this because he's going to know I'm probably never going to get around to it. Rob, if you want all your stuff back, you can have it. It's okay. I don't mind.
So what were your first steps into the community itself? Was that through London, meeting other London cosplayers, or popping out to Toronto? Because you've gotten to know quite a few folks over the past few years.
Yeah,
I stand out in the cosplay area community.
I'm going to try to be as political here as I possibly can. So I want to navigate the troubled waters. Definitely first in the London scene. The first major, the first time I went out as Negan was in London. It was at Forest City Comic Con, and that's when it was still at the convention center here in London. And it was, nobody else was doing Negan at the time. It was essentially like everybody knew who he was, but he was still new enough that there wasn't really anybody doing it. So I made the paper that day. Like they took pictures, like it was covered, and I got a spot in the paper. I was booed relentlessly. I had people driving up to me on the street and yelling at me and stuff. Oh yeah, I had a little old lady in Subway. She was in line in front of me, and it was the second day of the con, and I was dressed as Negan, and I went in to get lunch, and I sidled up behind her in the lineup, and she was probably about 4'11". She had to be in her 80s. She turned around, she looked up at me. She was, like I said, very short lady. And with her whole body, you could see she tensed up, and she just said, I hate you. She was so incensed. And that's, and by the way, that's when I was hooked. I'm like, I'm never not doing this. This is the best thing ever. That then led to a lot of the cosplayers that were there, especially the local London cosplayers, but there were also quite a few Toronto cosplayers there as well, helping to run the cosplay contest and such. That then sort of, I don't know, I guess got their attention. And so we started to talk and connect and network at that point. And yeah, and it's just awesome. As you keep doing it and you keep collaborating and you keep doing stuff, you keep networking. And that Toronto crowd is it's a fascinating crowd.
It is sure. Interesting.
Yeah, sure.
You know what? I so feel what you're saying right now. Yeah,
man. Yeah.
The Padawan here.
Yeah.
How you doing, Padawan?
What's going on, buddy?
Are you in there driving or drawing? Drawing away. One of your best pieces. We'll come out, go finish it, and then come show it on the show before it's over. Or is it done?
Well, I haven't started the color yet.
Well, go do up the color. We'll show everybody.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Jeff wants to see it.
Yeah, man.
You can do it in time. No?
I can't.
You can't? You already just know? See... He's an art freak. This kid, all he does since pandemic started is incessantly draw. I don't know if you've ever seen any of his pictures that I've posted online.
It's a good time to do it. So that's, yeah, for sure.
He's gotten so good. It makes me question the education system, that if we actually let kids focus on the things they love, how good they might get at them.
Weird, right?
Yeah, totally. So this kid has, like Halloween, obviously, but still the costumes that this kid has wanted to pull over the years. The best one was, I think it was 3-4 years ago. This kid comes to me and says, I want to do John Wick.
Yes.
What grade was that? Grade 3 or 4? Grade 3. My grade 3 kid comes to me and he's like, John Wick for Halloween. And I was like, okay.
Yes.
Well, it was so easy.
Of course.
So we borrowed a friend of ours. Their kid had a little black suit. So done. I had a black tie. All the thing I had to get was a black shirt.
Yeah.
So
no, it's perfect.
Black dress shirt for him. And we got him a little gun and we got him a wig. We had an old black wig that we kind of
awesome.
Cut. And I put that on Instagram and it exploded because I put cosplay.
Of course.
And it exploded. Like
that's
it's awesome.
Awesome. You know? I'm gonna have to go check that out. That's great.
Now, I'm gonna say something about the Toronto cosplay community, and I don't want this to come off wrong or weird either.
Well, be careful.
But I think they're stuck in a bubble. Right. And wonderful people. I've met some amazing people through cosplay, and I've seen some amazing cosplay done. You are one of the standouts, your pieces.
Thank you. Thank you.
But as I said again, I go to C2E2, I go to New York Comic Con.
Oh, so you've been to the big ones. You've seen the real stuff.
I've seen what's capable, and I've seen what's possible. And and this is a friendly challenge to all you Toronto area cosplayers, but you need to step things up.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some stuff that is just so mind-blowing. It's almost like you can't even realize it's standing in front of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I do. I absolutely do.
And there's so much of it. And I wish, like a lot of people, I try to tell people, like, get out there. I know because, Southern Ontario has so many conventions.
For sure.
It's very easy to feel like you're doing a lot and you're getting around. But I always try to tell people, like, hop over to New York, hop over to Michigan, hop over to Motor City. Because cosplay in the States, I think it's just had a longer history. It's had more development. So it's just at another level. Do you know what
Absolutely. I mean? No. And the resources, the time that they have, the cost of goods and materials is a lot better down there. It's just an easier way to go about it down there. Most of the pieces that we even buy, if it's not coming overseas, it's coming up out of the States. And so that makes it challenging as well, but they don't have to do that. They can just get it right there. So they have all the tools and resources to really knock it out of the park, and especially San Diego's great, but a lot of the amazing cosplays you see coming out of New York are just
and it's not, and I don't mean bigger and better and badasser. I'm not talking like, visually huger. Like, even though they have that stuff, you do see those like literal. I've had Transformers walk by me.
Oh yeah,
that just stopped the whole show. I'm sure you've seen footage of that at the big shows. It's amazing, just servos like spinning as they're walking. You can hear it like and but it's the subtle ones that have blown my mind. So I'm standing there at a table at one point, at Source Point table. and these two come up and they're looking at our books, these two like teenagers, right? And I'm sitting there and I look at the other one who just walks up to the friend and I'm like, wait a minute, are you Judd Nelson in Breakfast Club? And he's like, yes, I am. And then he's like, and she's whatever. I didn't realize because she was all in black. So she was Ali Sheedy, right?
She's Ali Sheedy, of course.
Yeah, I don't remember the characters' names. And then she goes, yeah, we're all here. And I look around, I see they're kind of a group, and it's the Breakfast Club, right?
That's fantastic.
And what do? I ask for a picture, of course. Can I get a picture of the Breakfast Club? And
of course.
Now, when I ask for the picture, what do you think happens?
I hope they all strike the pose that you
immediately
see on the cover
busted out the poster.
Of course,
immediately, without hesitation. Like that's their mission. That's why they were
what
there.
you have to do.
And they busted it out like they were just so ready. And I was like, this is just a level unseen. You know what I mean? Like you go to commit. You don't go to just walk around in your pretty costume. Guys like you and everything, you know, you're going and you're there. You're into it. You're there for everybody to portray, to play, to have fun. I love that, right?
Yeah, some I do find it's tough in the community too, because there are some people that have some social issue, like, you know what I mean? And so for some of them, just getting the costume on and getting out for a couple of hours is already
it opens them up, right?
But that might be the peak of what their level of social interaction can be. So I do have a certain level of empathy. What I'd love to see more of what you're talking about, people getting into a role instead of just being a mannequin wearing a costume and getting pictures taken. Do I want to see them more interaction and more fan servicey? Absolutely, I would love to see that. I get it though. For some people, it's really, really hard. But there's some others where, we're just like any other group of humans. Some of us I get lazy sometimes too. Like,
sure,
I'll throw on Spider-Man for the kids, and the kids will be losing their minds. But by my 300th or 400th picture, I'm just like, yeah, man, here's the web shooters. Let's do it. Like it's not, you know what I mean? Like it's hard to then start flipping off walls and doing crazy stuff. So yeah, that's a little bit of fatigue happens too. But
you just kind of started playing with spandex in like the last year or two, right?
Brother, 47 years old, 7 years old, and I'm putting on spandex. Can you believe this shit?
At least you've maintained the physique to pull it off, right?
That's been the tough part for sure. But yeah, my good friend who used to go by Woodstock Spider-Man and now goes by Spider-Verse, my good friend Scott, he was the one that was really, really pushing for me to get into the Lycra suits. In particular, the Spider-Man suits. He's got over 100 Spider-Man suits, so he's like a super freak. So he had me try one of his on. The problem, of course, is like he's about 5'2". Hi, Scott. And I'm 6'1". So there was a bit of disparity there. But once we kind of got it locked in place, he facilitated me getting my first one. And the nice part is, man, I got to tell you, like the comedian was probably about, I don't know, $1,000 and a year's worth of work. I can get a Spider-Man suit for $60 delivered to my door inside of 3 weeks. So,
and I'm sure adorning the outfit is much easier too, right? Like
it's 100% easier.
Thing on,
it's 100% easier. And no matter what I've done, and even what I've seen done, even characters like Captain America and Thor that I've done, and a Jedi and Superman, and I've even done Batman once. The reaction that a character like Spider-Man gets, there's nothing like it. Like kids just lose their minds for a character like Spider-Man.
You did Batman? How have I not seen you Batman?
There's, I believe there's one picture on my Instagram for that. So my good friend, a good friend of mine was getting married, and she wanted someone to walk her down the aisle, and her father had passed. And she asked me if I would walk her down the aisle, but her name is Robin. So she asked if I could get a Batman suit and walk her down the aisle as Batman and Robin. So I contacted my good friend Mike through Medieval Mad Love Cosplay. They're local here in town too, in London, and asked him if I could borrow his pimp ass Batfleck Batman suit, muscle suit, the whole 9 yards. And he was like, it's for a wedding. Absolutely. And yeah, I threw it on, went to the wedding, and walked her down the aisle as Batman.
That's amazing.
And she told nobody. There's like 3 people in the wedding party that knew it was going to happen. So we just kind of came out to this outdoor wedding in front of all the guests, and I'm in a full Batman suit, and everybody got on board too. It was great. So yeah, I was
lucky enough to help out a wedding with lightsabers once. My buddy got married, and they wanted to do the lightsaber arch thing.
Hell yeah,
so
they did.
I brought him a couple of the FXers, and
good for you.
Toss that up. So yeah,
Star Wars is for everybody, man. Nobody owns Star Wars, man. Star Wars belongs to all of us.
It's good times. 47. Jesus.
I know.
We're definitely in the same range, man.
Are we? You're wearing it. You're wearing it better than I am, brother.
I don't know about that, man. I'm at 44 now. I just hit 44 last February, and I got to tell you this because I want to ask you. We're gonna get a little off the cosplay line.
Yeah, that's okay, man. We can talk whatever we want.
Yep. Last year, I decided to make a change. I was not having a good year last year. Yeah,
I know you did, and the change is remarkable. By the way,
thank you.
How much are you? How much are you down now?
I actually went up a little. I was down 65.
Good for you.
But that was phase 1 Fight Club,
right?
Where I just wanted to shred it, get
as lean as you could. Yep,
absolutely. Yep. So accomplished my goal. Year 1 done. Fight Club.
Good for you.
Phase 2, Captain America. So
attaboy. The
goal now is to just try to gain a bit. I just want to increase the upper area, build the chest a little bit.
Sure.
Like I'm not trying to hulk it up or anything like that. I got really skinny.
Yep.
And I just like to now see if I can put a little more on top. I'm just doing all the things I never did in my life for whatever reasons, right? I've been a tree climber for 20 years and I wasn't in shape, which was fucking ridiculous, right?
Hilarious.
Yeah. So, but just everything that I was going through at the time, blah, blah, blah. And I needed that change. So I went on that year mission. And
you did so good, dude.
Thanks.
So
a lot
good.
Of hiking, lifestyle changes, dieting. And there was lots of inspiration.
Yeah.
And not
good for you.
Like toot horns or anything, but you were one of them, man.
Because, thanks, brother.
Seeing your cosplay and being in the mind of always thinking about fitness and, over the last year was always on my mind. And when I'd see you in your cosplay, I'd be like, I know he's hovering in my age and I'm curious how you've done it. How have you kept fit? Like, I'm not even sure what you do nowadays professionally. So I don't know if you're active. I don't know if you go to the gym. What are you up to? Great genetics?
I do. Yeah. Well, so yeah, I am a mesomorph, so I can essentially, put on weight and take off weight kind of at will. Right. So, I did what everybody else did when COVID hit last year is I ate everything. I was working the whole time, but I ate everything and I put on a pretty serious amount of weight. For me, I had a journey similar to you 7 years ago. 7 years ago, I was at 255 pounds.
Ooh,
and felt
broke 210. So
yeah, no, I felt absolutely terrible. I got down to 190 pounds and felt amazing. I was running, I was dieting, I was exercising. I felt really, really good. That was 7 years ago, and I kept it off for the most part. But yeah, whatever reason, the second half of last year, I just ate everything there was to eat at any time of the day that I wanted, and it was just nothing. And I woke up on January 1st at 227 pounds, which I hadn't been since I'd originally lost all the weight. And I was like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. I was still strong. I work a very physical job, so the strength never left. But I was carrying so much extra weight. I really got an eye-opener. I was doing a charity event, a food drive event. I want to say it was probably in January. And the first day I went as Captain America, and I put on my Captain America suit and everything still fit okay. So I went and did Captain America. The second day I said I was going to do Thor, and I got a new Thor, like a white sheep leather, like a really pimp Thor suit.
Nice.
Yeah. Couldn't get it on. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to switch gears. I'm going to just put Obi-Wan on. Obi-Wan will fit. Obi-Wan always fits. It's great. I've been heavy before and Obi-Wan is fit. Yeah. Obi-Wan wouldn't fit either. So I know. So that was like definitely the little bell going off. I'm like, yeah, I can't have all these. I have thousands of dollars in cosplays laying around. I'm not going to. So yeah, I just started a diet and exercise regime at that point, and got down to 191 pounds is where I got to. I wanted to get to 190, but I got to 191. Now I'm probably hovering around 194, 195, and that seems to be sort of my fighting weight. And by the way, for anybody watching or anybody listening, all of these numbers are just numbers. The numbers have nothing to do with anything as far as that goes. The numbers are for me mentally only and nothing else. It's
and
how
in this
you feel.
Discussion, it's kind of neat when you are talking to somebody and those numbers translate differently now, because when you're telling me your numbers, I can kind of get an idea of what you had to go through and how long it took. It's weird.
Yeah, for sure. So the physicality is there. Like, I've always been fairly tall, I've always been fairly broad, but when I'm carrying a lot of the extra weight, I just feel like garbage. I just don't feel good. And even if the cosplays don't fit, I just don't feel well. Now, this is, like you said, this is closer to my Fight Club weight. This is where I like to be, lean and mean. And yeah, boy, if you're gonna wear spandex,
right, yeah,
you don't have much of a choice. Well, so the diet regime was essentially keto, fairly dirty keto, but a low carb diet, and then intermittent fasting on top of that as well. So that for me was the most effective. over a 3-month period.
I wanted to try that, but I couldn't pull it off because of my job. I work in such bursts of activity in a way, because like, you know, where the part of my morning isn't much, and then I'm in a tree, and while I'm in that tree, my heart rate's up and I'm moving, and I get just stupid hungry. So I was kind of the little meals all day, just really. Then I got the Fitbit and tracked it, and it got to be routine. So last February 10th is my birthday, and that's when I broke it, right? And I don't know if you saw my day of epic feasting.
No, I did not see that.
I took the day off work on my birthday to eat. I went to like 5 of my favorite restaurants.
Good for you, man.
I got chili cheese dogs,
Yeah,
deep fried Mars bars.
Yep.
And I filmed it all and put it on Facebook throughout the day, and it was great.
And so how shitty did you feel the next day, by the way?
Actually, not too bad. Now, here's where it's interesting. I let it go. I was like, okay, I'm going to take a couple weeks to not count my calories. I'm not going to go crazy. I'm going to still kind of eat normal, but be just more forgiving.
Sure.
Like, a year of counting your calories is
tough.
It's torture, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So I just wanted to eat and be able to eat. So I just started eating. A month later, nothing changed. I gained a little bit of weight, but it was mostly water weight. But overall, I kept burning those calories.
Yeah, dude.
And I was like, have I actually kind of semi-permanently changed my metabolism?
Come out the other side of it?
I was
Absolutely.
like, does this work? Like, it didn't. I figured once I stopped, it would all just fall right back on.
And it can. And that has happened before.
Right.
But your body clearly hits like an equilibrium that it likes being there. Your body doesn't like carrying all that shit, garbage, greasy weight from all that terribleness that you had. And a lot of people don't realize too. I had this conversation with somebody the other day. They're like, I'm losing it so slow. Like, it's just coming off so slow. And I'm like, it took you years to put it on.
Right.
It took you so long to put it on. You may have only put on 2 pounds a year, but over 10 years, that's 20 pounds. But you're not going to take those 10 years of 20 pounds off in 3 weeks. It took you that long to put it on. It's going to take you a while to take it off.
You take 1 pound a week off, you're doing great.
I know.
You take 2 pounds, you're doing it the healthy way. So
it's the long, slow burn. That's what you've got to. That's what you got to get the mindset in.
But
so that's what it comes down to.
It actually felt so good that I ate so much that I was like, I think I'm going to eat a little more. And I started eating a little more, not like crazy, but then I started getting a little like, because I felt really light. And when I got fit, I felt light. I felt fast. I felt great. I felt super healthy, super energetic, everything except one thing. I didn't feel strong.
You didn't feel strong.
I didn't feel any strength. I felt like I had nothing. And I was like, okay, I need to add that. Right.
Yep.
Because what I do, it's the biggest thing I can equate to tree climbing is actually swimming. Like, after I've climbed a tree and I get down, my Fitbit registers it as swimming.
Oh, okay.
Because they're like the 2 things that use the most muscles.
Right.
I'm not.
You're using every muscle in your body.
Every move is different, so you're constantly on your core is what's kind of, you just all these positions you're in, pulls and stuff, and it felt really good. So that's kind of why I decided on phase 2 to bulk up a little, because I started feeling stronger just by eating. Yeah. And I was like, eating is fuel. I forgot,
Especially if you're eating clean, getting lots of good protein in you, and get that brown rice and beans, buddy. You get that chicken in there.
Rice, I'm a tuna eggs and stuff, but I can't.
Hey man, however you get that protein, that's good, bro. Right? Just keep it mostly clean, but get some calories in you and bulk up.
I found a mint chip flavored protein powder. Oh my god, like mint chip's my favorite. This changed everything, man. I'll just drink this stuff for fun, right? It's so good. And then, but you know how the protein can kind of gum things up a little, so you got to be careful about.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
I love, and of course you are in this category, but when cosplayers are, in large resemblance to the person portraying the cosplay, it's so much fun. Or even when they fit a certain idea. I don't know if you know him, but you know that gigantic Batman in the Toronto community? There's one Bat cosplayer, but he's like 8 feet tall, and he does the whole wing thing, and he's got the sticks on the wings.
I don't think so. No, I don't think I've seen him. I'll have to look him up.
Shocked you haven't seen this guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's been around the past years, but this guy has a straight up Batman costume. Very well made, but it's just the symbol, the blue, the gray. It's a Batman, but he's like 7 feet tall or 8 feet. He's just enormous. Plus he's got the flats on. He goes for that. and it's the long ears. He's got the
Yeah.
long ears.
Oh yeah.
And he's got the square jaw. It's like the guy he looks a lot like the guy in the Batman fan films that they put out. I don't know if you ever see any of those.
Yeah, I have.
But he's just got that presence.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, man, this guy's amazing. He's just so fitted to it, and so it's just like an epic like presence when he puts out this like 10-foot cape, and I love that shit, man. It's
and I get what you're saying too. And as someone like me, I try to stay in my lane as much as I can, right? I try to pick guys, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Josh Brolin, guys that I have at least some level of resemblance to.
Right.
But nothing makes me happier. Speaking of Batman, Brampton Batman. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Okay. Yeah. Dude is murdering it as Batman. Again, same thing. His bat suit is on point. He's got the really deep voice. He's jacked as all hell. He has a Batmobile. He drives a legitimate Batmobile.
Wasn't he in the news for getting pulled over in it?
He was, but they didn't pull him over for an infraction. They pulled him over to talk to him about the fact that he's wearing a Batman suit driving a Batmobile. There was nothing wrong. So I've had a couple of little interactions with him, and same thing. That dude, he's not there to play. Like he is Batman when he puts that suit on and he goes to an event. He's not messing around. Like you're there to see Batman. You're getting a picture with Batman, and he's going to be Batman the whole time you're there. And I have an enormous amount of respect for guys that do that. Now, again, for those of you that don't know or you haven't seen him, he's black. So when you first think of Batman, you don't think of a black guy. And for some people, it may be like it takes you out. It doesn't. Cosplay, anybody can cosplay anything they want. And this guy, I defy you once you meet him and you interact with him on any level, if he doesn't immediately strike you as Batman. It's just, it's uncanny because he's put himself into the role so much. For me, I don't have that. I stick with what I know. And people tell me when I go out of it, they're like, no, dude, that doesn't work. I've had a few costumes that I put together and worn out, and they're like, no, that's not you. That's not. The first time I did Superman.
Like what? Come on.
Superman was the big one.
The Kingdom Come?
The Kingdom Come Superman. Now, a lot of people didn't know what it was. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, the first time I went out as Superman, I was posting pictures of Superman. A lot of my followers messaged me who had seen me as Negan and seen me as comedian and seen me as Cable, and they were like, "Yeah, that doesn't work. It doesn't suit you. It's not that it doesn't look good, but it's not suited to." And I think people were just so used to seeing me dressed up as grumpy old assholes that so wow, that's a terrible picture. So that's actually at the house of the person that made the suit for me. So that's me trying on the suit at the house, and you can see it's I was skinny here and I hadn't really started to put any of the muscle sort of back on, so the suit doesn't fit as well as it
Kingdom
ended up
Come
fitting.
Superman, though.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I wore it to Con Bravo for the first time, and I was at Con Bravo the whole day. Dude, one guy got it. One guy came up. One guy. Bravo.
That's
Bravo
shocking.
it's not.
Isn't it more of a gamer type show? That show.
It was not the show to bring that costume to. Yeah. And really, to be fair, and nothing against the guys at Con Bravo that run that show. That's just not. It's not my kind of show. It's not my kind of crowd. Anyways, but I'd never been. I didn't know that. I actually went with my friends through Droids Canada. We did a thing together there and did some live stuff.
Todd and Dan and the Mountain Man,
my boys. Yeah. My boys. But it didn't go over very well. And a lot of people messaged me flat out. They were like, no, dude, no, that's not it. Oh,
this went over great. This is another one that you were pretty
number one
for. Is this yes? Now you've done a few situations where you've been invited into group cosplays,
yes,
for charity or just for fun. Yep. I believe this was one of those.
It sure was. I've done it twice now. Yeah, we did it last year at Fan Expo, like the last Fan Expo that we had on the Sunday. So the Sunday morning, I was in a giant Austin Powers group as number one, and then the afternoon was spent in a giant Watchmen group, whereas myself and the Kitties and Pretties girl, and then we had a Silk Spectre 2, we had a Night Owl, we had another original Silk Spectre, we had a Rorschach. It was a big group, and both groups ended up getting a lot of attention at the time. I'm not sure which one this one is, so I've only done this twice, and I'm not sure if this is at Steve-O's party or if this is at Fan Expo. Either way,
that looks like the Fan Expo back.
That might be Fan
at
Expo,
the convention center. Yeah, I think you weren't so clean shaven when you did the other one.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
From what I remember, Crystal Hope, she says she met that Batman, and he is phenomenal.
He is amazing. Yeah. If you ever have a chance to interact with Brampton Batman, jump at the chance, because it's a fantastic experience.
This you mentioned earlier here. There's Cap. That's a
good old Cap. There. So that was a series of very fortunate events for me. A good friend of mine bought that suit for himself.
Oh.
Intention on cosplaying it, and again, that's definitely not my lane, but the response has been pretty good, so I got no complaints.
Have you been watching Winter Soldier and Falcon and Winter Soldier?
I have.
Wow, that episode was I won't say any spoilers on this little episode because I don't want to caught anybody off guard that we're not talking about that, but
yeah, the only thing I'll say so far, there's only 2 episodes left, and it'd be really good if the Falcon and the Winter Soldier could do some falconing and winter soldiering. That's because so far there's not been a lot of that, and there's not a lot of time left for them to get that in. So I'm hoping we're going to get a lot of it over the next 2 episodes.
Oh yeah, I bet you the next 2 are crazy. Here's another one of those situations here. I believe this was for charity at Forest City. No.
So that was, yes. So they asked me to help run the kids section in Forest City, and we were taking, selling raffle tickets for some crafted goods and such, and all the proceeds were going to charity. So that was a wonderful, wonderful time and a great day spent with a great group of people.
Now, this day that you're talking about was very special to me. It was my first time at Forest City Comic-Con, and I believe Jeremy Bushnell is the host. He hosts, he did what I would have done and brought in his hero, who happened to be my hero, Mr. Ralph Garman. Awesome. I don't know if you're familiar with Ralph Garman.
Of course I'm familiar with Ralph Garman.
Yeah, so he brought him in, and I got to meet my fucking hero live.
Ralph is fantastic. So my buddy Rob that we were talking about from CCXpo, his podcast, the Movie Madhouse, his opener, like your opener, Ralph Garman is in his opener.
Nice.
Talking about, he got him to record a little bit for his opener for it, and he still uses it in his opener. So
this is crazy. It was my 300th episode coming up a few years ago, and I was like, "Okay, I gotta do something big. I gotta do something cool. Who could I do?" And I was like, I wonder if Ralph Garman. You know what? I'm gonna take a shot. I was like, fuck it. Kevin Smith's always saying, what's the worst they can say is no, right? So I emailed him. I got his email, and I sent him an email, and I kind of explained the whole situation, right? Oh, I think I lost you again. Did I lose you again? Are we good? Are we rolling? Okay, there. We're just freezing up a little bit there. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So I can't hear you. Why can't I hear you? Oh, now I kind of hear you.
You're good now?
Yes, I think we're good now. I think we just got a slight lag going. Yeah, so I emailed him. I said, fuck it. I said, look, I'm this guy. I was actually already friends with Mike and Ming from Comic Book Men. So I kind of used their names, and I was like, hey, I'm buddies with Mike and Ming. I've had them on the show, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm taking a shot, man. It's my 300th episode. I was wondering if you could have like 10 minutes you could spare for a quick rap chat. And, you know, that'd be amazing. And the whole thing. And he sends me back, and all it says is, sure, when and where. And yeah, so I hit him back, and I said, can we do it this way? And we didn't have Zoom then. We did it on Skype.
Yep.
And it was so crazy because like I'm waiting to do it 10 minutes before. I'm sitting at the computer, and
you're just
I've been nervous twice.
Yeah,
I've been nervous twice upon meeting celebrities. I don't get starstruck. I don't have the gene for embarrassment. It's why I make a good con host, I think. I'm at ease.
Absolutely.
I'm as at ease in front of 2,000 people as I am in front of 5. I don't care.
Same.
You know. So.
Yep.
But there's been twice, and the first time was when I met Rob Paulson at Denver Comic-Con, and I was shaking. My knees were shaking. And I flat out told him, I was like, oh my God, you know, I did the whole thing. And you're a hero to me. I love your podcast, blah, blah, blah. You're so awesome. Great. And my legs are shaking and shit. And I said, like, we're taking a picture. And he's like, oh, don't worry about that. And this, and that. So then I started a hashtag called, what did I call it? Garmy on Talking Tunes or something like that.
Yep.
Because all I wanted in the world was for my 2 favorite podcasts to cross over. And I was throwing them hashtags. I was adding them like constantly, like, and you know, and
trying to get their attention.
People started kind of retweeting and being like, yeah, that's a cool fucking idea. So they started liking it and stuff.
Nice.
So when I met Rob in Denver, after getting over that, I mentioned that to him. I'm like, I'm the hashtag guy. And he's like, oh my God, I love Ralph. I'd love to do that. Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, cool, man. And then he recorded. I paid for a recording thing, and he gave me a bumper for the weapon for the show here. He gave me just a couple voices. He did like Wacko and stuff. Then he recorded a separate one as Donatello for my kid.
Oh,
and it was just a private one for him, like encouraging him and being like, I hear you want to be the next turtle. You got to pick a color and blah, blah, blah.
That's so great.
It was so nice. Right.
Yeah.
So then so 10 minutes before Ralph Garman, I'm so nervous, just waiting, shaking
of course
at the computer. Right.
Yeah.
He comes in and he gives me like half an hour. We just start talking, and
good for you.
It was supposed to be like a few minutes, and we got so into it, right? So then I told him on the show at the end, I was like, "So have you seen that hashtag Garmy on Talking Tunes?" He's like, "Oh yeah," and I was like, "That's me." And he's like, "Are you kidding? Oh my God, I've never met Rob. I'd love to have blah blah blah. Like, hopefully you can make that happen, right?"
Yep.
So what does Forest City Comic Con do? They invite both of them to that show.
And that's the first one you go to.
And my head exploded. Because here's what I did. I'd been dreaming for this to happen, did this hashtag, got them to agree. They were both totally down with it, right? They just couldn't find the time, get together schedules. They were going to be at the same place. So I hit them up and I was like, you guys, you know, have to do this now. Please, can I be involved?
For sure.
Both of them were like, shit, yeah, let's do this.
That's
so not only was my dream of those two talking going to come true, but it was going to come true on your show.
That's
I'm just
amazing.
Not able to handle it.
No, you must have been losing your mind.
Oh, just it was crazy. But then Rob had to pull out, and Rob didn't make it to the show, but Ralph did. And that was incredible. So not only was he on my 300th, but then I got to go meet him and had already met him. So it wasn't that like weird. I was like, hey, I'm Jay, Elegant Weapon. Jay, you know? And then we sat down and recorded at the show. And by that time, they had actually done it already. Because I remember getting disappointed at that. I got excited they were going to do it on my show. And I saw Rob in Denver, in Michigan at Motor City. Right. Reiterated. He's like, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
Not a week later, they just went ahead and did it on their own, on their own shows. I was like, you bastards. But I was going to do it again. But he didn't show up. And then Ralph actually, he credited me right on my show. He was like, dude, I would have never met him or got together if you hadn't started that hashtag. And we're pushing it. It's got a lot to do with you. And I was like,
that's all I needed. I'm good.
That day. So that day, that was my day.
That's good, man.
That exact day when you were helping out with the Harry Potter kids there.
Yep.
So just fantastic. All right, just before we close out here, I think I got are we already sharing here? I think I got one or two more because I want to get some recent of what you've been going on here. And this one in particular.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Oh, I can hear you now.
And yet. Hey, there we go.
I can't see you, but I can hear you. So
you can't see. Well, I see as Geralt there.
Oh, there you are. Oh, you do see Geralt?
I do see Geralt.
Okay. I don't know why I don't see you.